Uh, all right. This is what happens. I'm on a minute, and we're gonna see if we can come up with a topic again because my router went out and I had to restart it and shit. Yeah. All right. Alright, yes. Stealing this car. End the game, yeah. Alright. Alright, we're gonna stop that music because yeah. Alright, and I'm gonna turn down the volume. There we go. Alright, I think so words to live by. Shit. What are words to live by? Many people say don't eat the yellow snow. I say don't eat snow, period, especially if you're stranded in snow. Let's see here. Words to live by, another motto. I think I'm gonna use that other card because this is a piece of crap comparatively speaking to that one. All right.
Hey, you just turned this into a buck.
All right. So,
That's dumb luck right there.
words to live by. Don't eat the yellow snow. Got that one down. Oh, if it rains with immensely gray clouds, then it's acid rain. And if there's pink clouds afterwards over your place, and how beautiful they look and stuff like that, then it's just acid rain. It can damage your skin like hardcore sometimes, and even, no matter what. And sometimes people think they're in rain and just regular rain and stuff like that, but if they don't know, if they're in like a heavy gray cloud or something like that, if there's a heavy gray cloud that's we are gonna go see the tank, see if he wants to play something cool, I guess, like it. I don't know if he's going to be able to play it. He might get angry and try to shoot at me, but we're just going to see. Do you know that there's a lot of mottos that people don't live by, that people just like say they're gonna live by? It's like, it's another good one. We're gonna get off Soul Wax because it's copyrighted material. Really wish there was a jet. Oh well. There has to be a way out of here, like another way out of here, like a cool way out of here.
In western Port Jacksonville.
Oh, there's a tank there. Alright. You don't want to play it anymore. Alright, I think it's sometimes when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we start to realize that we live by so many credos and mottos that it's kind of weird, you know, like there's so many survivalist mottos and so many different things that we actually like kind of live by, I guess, and because of people dying and oh my god. Alright,
Man, fuck this shit.
got him. $94 and 92. Alright, let's go to a convenience store, see if we can knock that one off too. Do 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 do. So yeah, understand there's a big,
Hey, you ain't well, homie. Let's get you up out of there. Christ alive!
alright. Understand there's a big chunk of things that we learn through people just literally losing their lives. Not like to say that like in the wilderness and stuff like that, like within a good part of mountain hiking and stuff like that. Realizing that the reasons why there are paths marked out is because that's like the most non-invasive way to go hiking without getting hurt by a mountain lion. Or killed by one, or eaten and brought back to his cave, or wherever he stays. Realize that there are, there's so many ways that people start to, yay.
Jake Remedy!
Yes. Awesome. Okay. There's so many ways to be able to like. There's so many ways to be able, and I've studied some of the stuff that goes on. I'm not really saying that I've looked in books constantly, or because anything can basically happen out in the wilderness, kind of. people can go crazy and kill each other, like what happened in that case where people started having blunt force trauma to the head that was like way too big. I mean, what I think sometimes though is what if I'm sure that they saw this before, but that hiking trip that turned into like nothingness, or basically everyone just dying, like it's like I think the bodies were moved there. There's no evidence that the bodies weren't moved there, and then there's no evidence that the bodies weren't moved there. So and the crime scene probably was fabricated, maybe. There's no evidence pointing to that not being a thing. So it could have been fabricated. Could have been completely fabricated. They could have been whatchamacallit, hallucinating, or anything like that. Because within a certain given part of a person's life, I guess, they start to hallucinate. And yes, awesome. Awesome. Here we go. I think that that what people need to realize is that the only reason why those mottos exist is because people literally died time and time again. Sometimes it's like that sign that says that because of like a certain number of customers doing a certain number of things. Like, God damn it. Because of a certain number of customers doing a certain number of things, that means that they put up a sign basically that says no doing something this, or no doing this, or it's like don't feed the walrus, or stuff like that. Like, it's just because then he expects people to feed him, and then he'll go after them. That's what he'll do, because he'll think that they have food. If they're hiding their hands, or if they're hiding their stuff. That's what happens when you feed bears, because bears expect food every single time that they see a human. That's the reason why sometimes I have to lean back on feeding the dog treats every once in a while, because I notice that whenever I feed the dog treats, that the dog decides to realize, and the dog works with patterns, and then with those patterns, he starts to realize or even think that there's a guy. Ooh, almost died, but it didn't. Tight. Oh, damn it! I thought that was a thing. I didn't think that was a. Should just wheelied it. That'd have been tight. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked out. Maybe. All right. I'm gonna jump this wall. Cops out. Alright, I'm gonna jump this wall now. Son of a bitch. Alright, I think that though every time you start to realize that that people themselves, oh, you son of, God damn it. Alright.
Ah, that hurt.
I think people sometimes start to realize that survivalist techniques are really supposed to be not just learned through experience, but also taught in classes and different things like that for people to be able to understand. And that's the reason why too people will realize that that's within a certain amount of temperature changes. Okay, it has a lot to do with climate change, and the reason for climate change is because every reason, people, things, plants, animals, stuff like that. Things let off temperatures. They let off like literally temperatures. Like machines don't let off heat as much as we do. To say this, they say the same thing. It's like machines don't give off as much heat as we do. Okay, so taking that into example, like okay, the scientific people that went into the Matrix and decided that they were gonna use human body temperature to be able to do things, to be able to like as a power source, they had to realize, yes, that is a certain possibility. But unfortunately, it wouldn't be controlled by machines or anything like that, or sentient machines. It would be controlled by machines, controlled by humans.
We're arriving over the target coordinates.
And that's the reason why those things took bodily form. People think that those were they're like spirits or something like that, like the ghost in the shell or something like that, or ghost in the machine.
Suspect doing 80 miles per hour on
And also, that was the
motorbike.
euphemism within the entire anime. So you have to realize that ghost in the shell means absolutely nothing. There are gotta go. Alright, I got 4 stars. Almost 5. Let's see if I can get up to 5. God damn it! I was trying to make it faster than him. Oh yeah, that's right. This broadcast, this live stream is brought to you by a tall glass of V8 and a few ice cubes in it. It's really delicious. I realized that I have to get my protein and different vitamins from different sources, and realized that if you have a balanced diet, then you have a healthy diet, no matter if there's sugar in it or not. But not enough to where it hurts your teeth, because
Oh, fuck!
Inbred piece of garbage.
This don't make no fucking sense.
yeah, I think that people decide that they're not gonna allow people to, and sometimes people just move away. Like there's people that have have gotten they found remains of someone else that was completely out there, and people have just gone into hiding from other people. All right, there's another there's a woman. No, that's because he'd be dating her if he wasn't her daughter. That's what he said. He'd be dating her if she wasn't her daughter. If she wasn't her daughter, I said he. If she wasn't her daughter, there's a difference. I don't care about the difference, so it doesn't matter to me because people are stupid and I don't give a shit. So good. So,
Don't be no wise
within the
ass
confines
dog.
of surviving an apocalypse, let's see how many things we've learned so far. Don't be noisy, which means that all electronics during the nighttime probably have to be off because of the fact that there are people looting. And when there are people looting, when they see noise or hear noise, they'll usually be attracted to it. Because that's basically what I think the survivalist means, that there are, let's see, what's another one? Don't make fires, I guess. Don't try to make fires at all. Try to find warmth within a building, I guess, that has central heating, or try to find a building that has central heating, because it makes less noise, it crackles less, and let's see here. Let's see. What's another one? Don't use your electronics without being covered or something like that, or with outside, or like, because people can latch on to that kind of stuff. There are people who know how to latch on to certain signals and other things like that, and they can make your day a very, very hectic day, because it's what happened to me. I had a person that was using my either my internet connection or my I don't know what it was, but I wound up looking at a woman shaking her butt on Google. It was awesome. It was cool. She shook her butt a lot, and but it wasn't what I was supposed to be looking for. It really wasn't. I actually do look up porno every once in a while, but I didn't look up that. So and within the realms of thinking about God damn it. I'm thinking about what is good for you and what's not good for you. Try to eat high protein foods, or high vitamin foods. Try to don't exactly get an MRE all the time, because you're gonna have a bunch of calories, and if you're stagnant, if you're waiting for someone, then a lot of times what happens is your calorie count can you'll basically won't burn as many calories as you think you'll burn during the apocalypse. People think that it's the initial thing, actually, that in a person's within a person's psyche there are ways to be able to fight against insanity, and also realize that there will be people who aren't stacking up enough, so there will be insane people. And because during the end of days, I guess, not to say that the end of days was actually a thing, but let's see, let's see here, talking about what that means for, and I'm doing this, here we go. Yes. God damn it. Move, Bo. I'm not eating anything. I think at most times people actually used to, and within what they would think of an apocalypse is that everything's happening all the time, and it's like, just back off that, back up off that that whole ideal that there's gonna be something happening every single day, and people are gonna be hurting and like stuff like that. It's like, no, sometimes there's gonna be like just peaceful days. Sometimes it's going to be peaceful days. Sometimes it's going to be days when people are looting and stuff like that. And also, I mean, federal would actually come through with more federal aid, I think, than anything else. Unless they had a stake in it, or unless they were misinformed about what was actually going on. Because governments can get misinformed about things and take sides that wouldn't normally they would take. So within, oh my God, I just jumped on top? Yes, I did it. I'm amazing, and I almost fell. I fell. Awesome. Yep. What was the word? God damn it. Son of a bitch. God damn it.
You're dead. You're about to become
I'm
my
just...
favorite target.
Come on, calm down. God damn it. Alright, there are so many ways that people wouldn't actually what's the word? There's so many ways that people wouldn't actually be and in an apocalypse. You might actually find more people helping each other. You might actually find people who let's see, you might actually find more people trying to be there for each other than you'll find people not there for each other. Like, you actually find within the own rights of military trying to help the sickened or anything like that. You might find more people trying to be the hero, I guess. Not really the hero, but more like the dude that people call upon to be able to make decisions and be able to get through certain things. So I mean, so it's like that whole thing it's like the whole thing in The Walking Dead, and that's the reason why I stopped watching The Walking Dead, is because there's always constant drama, and it just makes me think that like there's some sort of like person that's making the stupid messed up people go to the top. It's just like every single person that has ever been put in power, as far as these people go, if they're shitty or they're fucked up or they're not fucked up or they're good, what happens is there's a breakdown of what people think is like the way that people would think in an apocalypse. There's a breakdown of like of I guess what people would actually do in the apocalypse. I think that what they would do, stop, Bo. I think what they would do sometimes is
Oh my God!
I think that what they would do sometimes is misinterpret things around them, I guess, because there seems to be a lot of people who are crazy and fucked up and stupid. They're all about basically ruling the world and stuff like that, and everyone that's underneath them is just like, gosh dang it, he got to it first. And it's just like, no, that's not how it would be in an apocalypse. If there was somebody who was fucked up, really fucked up, and they like killed people in front of you and stuff like that, or they said that this person did a crime and now they must pay, and it just like lops off their head, you'd be like, there's like 30 of us, there's one of that guy and he's just got a bat. So like there's that. Like, people think that there would be like, there'd still be the whole gods and clods sort of thing, and that would break down within the first, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks, I guess. People would think that there would be like, even the people who are getting paid to they would realize that their money is not any good anymore. You son of a bitch. You ran over my motorcycle. I stole fair and square. I think that that what people would actually do sometimes is they would kind of break down what people were good or bad or anything like that. Like, I think that they wouldn't normally go after each other constantly. I think there wouldn't be that many gangs. I think because those are the people that would die first. The gangs, the fucked up people, because they would eventually start fighting each other constantly, or over power, over natural resources and stuff like that, and they wouldn't even care about the middlemen or the lowly people. They wouldn't even care about control over them, because there would be no reason for power over them anymore. So that's the reason then things that would happen, I think. So I guess stay to yourself, you know. Don't try to go into too many groups or too many people and try to like make hope happen, I guess. at first, because people are getting used to the fact that there is going to be a broken down economy, basically. Like, that's basically the reasons for apocalypse in the first place. As if something abandoned our economy, or something ruined our economy. And not to say it just ruined our economy, our life for at least 48 hours. If there was no power, I think. Let's see, in a Katrina-like situation, it's different because you know that there's going to be a stop to it. You know that there's going to be an end to it. So, and if you're ever joining me, if you just went to the bathroom at all, let's see here. Talking about the apocalypse, and I think that what people don't understand about the apocalypse is that even the people who work for the government would realize that their economy is just done, that everything about them is just done. So and yes, it probably skipped out a little bit, but that everything about them is, like, their whole society, their whole chain of command is just over with. Some people would calm down and not do anything, but other people would probably go insane, or they would think that people, I mean, not to say that people actually need the government in order to be able to be sane, but realize that that their entire livelihood, whatever they were fighting for, whatever they were doing things for, their entire motivation has changed.
Look out the way.
And whatever motivations that people have as far as God damn it. All right. Whatever motivations people have as far as doing certain things. I was gonna land it. That would have been so cool. I think that the more you look at a bare bones system, I guess, of hey, I think that that person over there is kind of sick. Realize that cannibalism will actually happen. There will be people who go to resort to cannibalism because of the fact of food running out, or the fact of them not feeling like getting food, or anything like that. And also realizing that I'm not talking about, like, people who just really, like, I'm not talking about people who really just but this is more like in the months to come, I guess, afterwards, after people have raided all the stores and then run out of food, and all the food that's actually gone there has gone bad, because if it's 24 hours to 48 hours of no power, you'll have little to no food to actually sustain you over the months to come. You have to start learning how to farm and vegetate and do different stuff like that, but also too, you have to realize if whatever caused the collapse of the economies wasn't a virus. So, I mean, and that's the reason why, because that's the fucked up part about an apocalypse, is you don't know the reasons why the apocalypse happened most of the time. It's like you're guessing, basically. And when you guess, you have to be able to think on your toes, and be able to think, well, this happened, so this happened, or this happened, so this happened, or you have to come up with at least 12 or 18 different scenarios where you're running through something or somewhere, and you're running through somewhere or something, and something's trying to catch you. You have to figure out what that thing is, whether it's a lion, whether it's a mountain lion, whether it's a zoo animal that got let loose. Because that will happen when the power goes out. Like, eventually those animals will leave and go. And the fact is they've been locked in cages for a real long time. And I don't think that sometimes they are that cute whenever they're clawing at young children on those videos. I really don't think that. I really don't think that those things are having a great time. I think that they're trying to look for food, and they're blaming a bunch of people, and they're trying to, because yeah, they have logical minds just as much as we do, kind of, sometimes. It's just they go slower, and they have patterns that they go through sometimes, and that's the reasons why I think that animals react to things sometimes is that's simply that video where that little kid was pawing at the lion cage, and the lion itself was literally trying to go after him. He wasn't like looking at him all like, oh, and this is, I'm an animal, help me. No, he was like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. That's what he was doing. That's the whole time what he was doing. It's very, 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 it pisses me off, kind of, because, oh, god damn it, he didn't fucking die, or he didn't get knocked out. Damn it. I'm in a van, so it's like really hard for me to maneuver and stuff. So, but yeah, I really understand that there are certain reasons why animals would not like us after a certain point. It would kind of be like Jumanji a little bit afterwards, especially since people wouldn't understand that those animals are not there to pet anymore. Like, even the petting animals sometimes would go insane or crazy, or they would start feeding off their own feces, or they would start feeding off of each other, and let's say the alpha of the situation would probably start attacking people. With the fact of gun control laws and a whole bunch of different other things like that are set in place, realize that shit makes you not able to protect yourself within those bounds of being attacked by an animal. There are so many ways that an animal can tear you apart. Why would you not want to be able to protect yourself? I mean, there's only so many ways you can chop it in the neck, or cut off its oxygen supply from its brain. There's only so many ways you can do that, and it moves around and then bites you. So even within my own being able to protect myself under kung fu and a whole bunch of different stuff like that, the only thing that's going to protect me is my speed and be able to change direction a lot, or turn around corners, I guess. But also too, that's a weakness as well, because you don't know what's around that corner. You don't know if a monkey's around that corner ready to poke your fucking eyes out. Because monkeys will eat the fucking shit out of people if they had the chance. Monkeys would eat people all the time. They would eat people because they've been known to in the wild, when in emergency situations, they freaking eat each other. They eat each other, or they'll eat other animals if they can't find bananas and certain vegetables, or bugs if they can't find bugs. And in emergency situations where things are going awry and things are going crazy, monkeys will go stupid and they will fucking eat you. Like, any animal literally would go along the food chain and be like, I don't give a shit about the food chain, I'm gonna eat a human. So realize that that there are things out there other than just humans that you need to be able to look out for, and realize that within an apocalypse situation, all bets are off. All bets are just off. There's no bets. There's no things. I realized that there was a ramp here, so I'm gonna use that, and it's gonna be tight. Realize that I need to. So yeah. Realize that there are so many ways to be able to protect yourself, though, and within those ways, you need to understand that that you're gonna have to learn how to use a firearm. And within those bounds, when you learn how to use a firearm, because of the fact that even though it makes a lot of noise, there are silencers that can that can mask the initial blow or the initial thing. And there are melee weapons that you can learn how to use that will help you along your way as well. And there's the rant. And I died. Oh wait, did I? Wait. Oh, yes. Yes. I'm amazing. That jump failed. God damn it. I thought that was a wall instead of a bunch of bars. I thought that was not a wall behind the. All right. But yeah. Realizing about the apocalypse, you're gonna have to learn a bunch of different survival skills that you've never actually thought of before because of either a certain contamination, was it contagion or something like that, or a certain contagious substance, or a certain viral entity or something like that, and or because of an economic breakdown or an economic shutdown, because sometimes people build up certain things like and things. I'm not saying that there's a fear of Bitcoin or anything like that, or a fear of anything, but a fear of anything unregulated that can actually that is not actually originated from our country can either eventually be regulated by people who are tired of it or not tired of it controlling everything. And I'm talking about like just certain economic structural damage. Like there, and also you have to notice that the more people who think that this stuff is important, the more people you'll see realize that that the more people who think this stuff is important, the more people who will and I can say there's people who beckon the apocalypse and it's like bring it on or something like that. And they're gonna die first too. Like they're really gonna die first. Like they're gonna be like, bring it on, and then they're gonna like fight the nearest person they see or something like that, and then that person's gonna kill them because they don't have any fighting skills. Or if they do have fighting skills, then they'll probably go along to like the biggest person they can possibly see, and then they'll just be like, I'm gonna fight you because blah blah blah, bring it on, and stuff like that. They'll be the ones that get eaten by the animals from the zoo probably. And also realize that that once like animals will find a way out. They will, like no matter what. They'll be able to climb. They're able to climb walls. Like eventually they'll find a way out. They'll probably be starving, and that's probably worse for an animal that is out in the wild and stuff like that. Realize that I found that, and I gotta turn that off because, but realize that that there are so many reasons why you should be able to go within certain situations and say, you know what, I can take care of myself in this certain situation, and have confidence with that, because that's when people start to believe you. That's when people start to believe you have confidence. And don't just have confidence, because I've noticed this sometimes about myself, that even though I have confidence, I do not know everything. And then I wind up embarrassing myself when someone actually reads out of a textbook that thing is a certain way and not the way that I said it was. Because yes, that is what happens. That is exactly what happens sometimes. Sometimes. Not all the time. I'm not just like some dude that just says, and also people from certain rural areas will have a better time because they're not as controlled by the government as possible, as much. And realize that that's probably sometimes the reasons why people don't get into a lot of government. Because they're afraid that they'll get used to a certain lifestyle, forget what they learned when they were taking care of themselves, and then they'll because that's basically the reasons why people actually get so pissed off and crazy about people changing economies and changing everything because they think it's just going to go back to the way it was whenever that government sometimes ceases to be, or if that government loses control of its economy, or but also realize that economies can be dictated by certain people no matter what. But also too, if they're dictated by certain people, then that person has ultimate control. And realize that ultimate control doesn't corrupt ultimately. It's just realize that that person will take care of their family first. You know? Realize that every person that ever has a thing. Oh my gosh. Awesome. I thought that was gonna happen. They're gonna take care of their family first. Just like everyone else who takes care of their family first. Realize that they have to take care of their family first. And the more you start to realize that they don't have it figured out, people in rural areas don't have it figured out, but they don't like learning new stuff because they think that it jumbles them up. And actually, it can jumble you up. But realize that you're going to have to learn new skills no matter what. Even the people in rural areas, they're going to have an easier time, but it's still going to be just as hard sometimes. Because going to that Pizza Hut pizza place every once in a while on a Thursday was sometimes the only thing that people had to look forward to, or even going to Walmart itself. Like, imagine like the amount of people that will be just raiding everything, especially if the power goes out. Because if the economy goes down, and then that's sometimes the first thing to go. But if there's a viral outbreak, then what people will understand is people who can actually engineer things will be a lot more important. And basically you have to have a team. You have to have a people that you know what they're doing, a team of people who know what they're doing, who know exactly how to do things, exactly how the ways to do things, because it's going to come down to a very ultimate science. And if there's any temperature change or anything like that, like things get hotter, which I know they will because I always know that freaking this is what happens basically is they say that there's a huge volcano that's gonna blow everything up, but understandably so, that volcano is just a liquid hot magma and doesn't have a disbursement mechanism.
That's dumb luck right there.
It doesn't have a disbursement mechanism, so it just heats up the ground above it. So that's what volcanoes do when they don't erupt, okay? They just heat up the ground above it, and when they heat up the ground above it, they start to heat up the air. And when they heat up the air, they heat up everything around them. And then that's what happens. And then also too, that ground itself, that magma itself starts to turn into ground. And when that ground stops heating up, it starts to cool. And when it starts to cool, it cools rapidly. And when that ground cools, it cracks. And when it cracks, so there's a bigger chance not only of the volcano not happening, but there's a bigger chance of tectonic plates that still haven't moved within our own USA to actually separate and create mountaintops or mountains within valleys. That's the reason why sometimes that realize that temperature changes gravity, right? Since temperature changes gravity, the reason temperature changes gravity is because it changes the position sometimes of magma or plate displacement, and that's why it changes temperature, because sometimes it can change the elevation. So realize that once it gets hot, it can get cold again because of the fact that there will be tectonic plates moving around within, I'd say, where Yosemite, whatever national park it is, or something like that. And I guess that's what Soma's about. That video game Soma. It's about it's more about the way that we affect other life, I guess, in the world. And I just fucked up. So but realize that there are realize that there are certain ways to be able to do things. God damn it. God dang it! I did not even notice that happening. It really came out of nowhere. So yeah, I'm enjoying my V8 juice. And Bo, what are you chewing on? Stop chewing on the sock. Are you hungry? Come here. Come here. Come here. Do you just want to chew on something? If you just want to chew on something and... Do you want to brush your teeth or something? Alright, where's your bone at, Bo? Come here. Oh well. Bo, here you go. Oh, dang it. There's not that anymore. I can't use that. Alright, just chew on the sock, but I don't give a shit. Because, I mean, it's not my sock, so who cares? Right? Alright. But realize that within every apocalypse, you'll realize that that there's certain doomsday situations for pretty much anything, and when things rapidly cool, they within that given a scenario basically, but also too there's probably a chance that it will just turn into ground.
Man, fuck this shit.
There's a chance that Yosemite National Park and stuff like that, it'll just turn into hot rock and be or anything like that. There's a huge chance of it just fizzling out, basically, because of the fact that it constantly lets off evaporations and things like that. So it has a vent, basically, but it's like the reason why it's hot is because of the basically tectonic plates moving in between things, I guess. And that's the reason why it's hot, is because friction, basically. Friction is happening. And also it could be that. Like they basically like I'm gonna see if that's a nope, that's a stupid motorcycle. I am gonna go jump it with this. Alright, there. So I'm at 53 minutes. I'm not doing really well on this. That is the coolest fucking car I've ever seen, and I'm gonna go save it.
Hey, you don't see me driving here?
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Hey man, what's up?
Awesome. And he's probably gonna leave. Hopefully not, though. Yes.
One piece, but you make me fight.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, how's it going, viewer? I'm talking about the apocalypse and what kind of new skills you'll have to use. I got about like 15 minutes left on this whole thing that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do a mission, basically, and it's gonna be awesome. If you want to message me, you can. If I haven't blocked you, so I'm gonna go to L.
Damn, you asshole! Oh, too close!
I've also noticed that that within a certain doomsday scenario, like there's a lot of people that think that the apocalypse is imminent and we're due for another I'd say evolutionary change, I guess, within our own bodies as well. That can actually have an effect on people's psyches sometimes as well, too. And it could be the reasons why why I have to take medicine, is because I'm constantly changing and evolving. Or at least my mind is changing and evolving, and
What's going on, brother?
All right.
So who the fuck don't you like today?
Guy's called Isaac Penny, ruthless vulture capitalist, about to take a controlling interest in Vapid Motor Company and sell thousands of workers down the river. Penny's one of those tight-fisted billionaires, rides the same bus to and from work every day. I was thinking you could take over the route and...
Drop the ass off where he needs to go. I got it.
Good. Oh, one thing. If I was you, I wouldn't buy any Vapid stock until the acquisition falls through.
All right. There we go. All right. But yeah, within the given situations that I talked about earlier, you should know that that an apocalypse situation is not probable. It's possible, but it's extremely not probable. And I think that I mean, you can get yourself ready for whatever kind of scenario you think there is, but understandably so. I'd say that you should Man,
you hit me.
I'd say that you should try to train yourself and prepare, because if there's something that I know that what's going to happen within the coming future, I guess.
Hey, sorry I'm late. It's my first day on the job.
I guess what you should really understand about this situation is realize that there are certain situations that decide your fate. Okay? Whatever fate it is, whatever thing it is, there are certain situations that decide what you need to be doing with yourself. Decide that you're supposed to be better, no matter what kind of situation it is, and people won't wig out and try to change crazy stuff, because or say crazy things, I guess, or say stupid things.
Hey, get in, we're running late.
And also understand that there are certain situations that make up what you'll be dealing with as a whole, if any one of those situations happens, and it will mean life and death if you don't realize that an idea has every sort of power over everything. That's what an idea can do. An idea can make you believe anything you want to, anything it wants to, or anything a person wants you to. Realize that idea itself.
Well, you're late.
That'll be 150. Mr. Penny, ain't it?
Bear hike. Forget about it. Spendthrifts.
Hey!
Blame it on the city.
Assassinate the target.
Jesus, have you been drinking?
Attention passengers, please hold on to your fucking seats.
Stop the bus, you maniac!
Oh, now you gonna run, huh, motherfucker? You ain't going nowhere.
Attention all
It's fine, guys. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Suspect is hijacked an LS transit bus. Units
Okay,
code 3.
But realize that in any given situation, whatever happens, I guess, realize that there's certain things in certain people, and certain things with certain people, and certain people with certain things that can drive you absolutely bonkers in regular situations. I'd say that given those criteria, realize that within an apocalyptic situation, people can literally lose their freaking marbles and think that there is nothing left for them to believe or think, or nothing left for them to believe, to be able to think, or be able to believe at all. I think that within a certain given situation, people are gonna try to find it's like a depression almost sometimes, because that's a deep depression basically, because that's what I see sometimes in most apocalyptic scenarios. But that's not gonna be, basically. There's gonna be crazy people and there's gonna be sane people. There's not gonna be like people, oh, I'm dwelling over this thing that happened and I have a character flaw and blah. No. They're either gonna be living or they're gonna be dying. That's what happens in those scenarios, basically. I really think that people will start to actually get rid of revenge, or start to push their revenge on people if society starts to break down itself, because there are people sometimes that themselves just want to basically fuck shit up or do stuff that's dumb. I'm gonna do this over again, and I have to leave the area afterwards, and I have to get out of the...
Attention passengers, please hold on to your fucking seats.
Stop the bus, you maniac!
Hey, I thought you needed a ride, homie. Why you bill?
Oh my God, we hit someone! Did you see that?
Just business shit, you know how it is.
Attention all units. Citizens are reporting a 187. Suspect is hijacked an LS transit bus. Units respond code 3.
Alright, so, realizing that there is a,
We have a visual on the target.
a real danger whenever you're sometimes thinking about those crazy thoughts or things like that. Realize that if you entertain those thoughts enough, then they can really get to you. They can really make you feel like you're nothing, and within those bounds make you do crazy things like look after loved ones that have died in a certain fucked up situation, or and I'm not talking about apocalyptic scenarios anymore. I'm talking about regular everyday life. People
Dispatch, we got eyes on the target.
People don't see where they're where a good portion of their psyche lies, or they choose not to see, or they choose not to acknowledge, I guess, sometimes. And within those bounds, I think that people really need to really give a second thought or a second chance about how they think about everyday situations, and if you can, donate your time or your money, I guess, mostly your time, to different charities that are able to help people in need, or people who have those certain messed up scenarios in their head, because that's what I think about constantly sometimes. I think about constant bullshit all the time, and it's the reason why I'm probably categorized as this certain person. But I'm unbeknownst to certain people, I'm extremely smart, and I'm really smart, and all I need to do is help myself become a better person by being stable. And I think sometimes what people actually think about is, or people actually do, is they don't realize that their lives matter, and or they matter to someone, and at least me. realize that your life matters, and it really does matter. It makes for a better tomorrow, and no matter what apocalyptic situation happens, realize that
Green light?
Good to go. What the? Good to go.
no matter what mess up situation you have to go through in order to be able to make sure that you're a better person, realize that you didn't have to go through that, and also realize that you put yourself through that situation so you thought you could see something, and realize that fucked up situations don't have to happen, and you are your own one-man bomb squad. You can defuse any situation before it happens. No, you can't. You cannot beat the crap out of me. Realize that you are your own one-man bomb squad, and you can stop things before they happen. I'm not saying you can stop any apocalyptic situation from happening, but I'm saying that you can stop yourself from becoming what an apocalyptic situation would consider a crazy person, or consider a raider in a video game, or anything. Realize that that you can talk yourself out of any situation, or you can talk yourself into new situations with certain people that are very, very good for you. And also, thank you for listening, and if you ever did. Thank you, one viewer. I'm not sure if I blocked you or not, but yes, if you want to share anything on the message boards, I do prefer you not to share anything personal, because I will block you. So but just share something like that you found was really good. Don't share anything too personal, basically. I don't share my name on this. So even though you may know stories about me, people may know stories about me, I don't share my actual name. And my name is so common that that you wouldn't be able to take it apart from anything else. So realize that there is that, and you have to do some researching to actually find me, and that's the way I like it sometimes. So I'm not doing this for followers or likes or anything like that. I'm just doing it so if people hear it and if people like it, then they can probably be a part of the discussion the next time around. Thank you for listening, and have a good tag and a good day, and all those other different words for salud, and a whole bunch of different other things. Be your own one-man bomb squad. You can defuse situations before they happen if you have the practice. If you're able to practice enough the situations where you
Oh shit! Puta madre! Oh shit!
yeah.
Citizens report
That's fun.
FDV.
Alright, so be yourself, and
Stop, Porta.
hopefully you don't
Damn, 5-4.
you don't turn into a crazy person when an apocalyptic situation comes your way.
We are
Yeah?
on our way.
So alright.